Why, good evening, you beautiful souls. I hope you're having a great day thus far. Now, ending egoic separation, we're just going to dive right into it because there's one concept in spirituality that I very much dislike, and it's this form, it's this word, it's this concept of ego death. And in the experience of it all, a thought is just a thought. There is no such thing as a death of a thought. It doesn't exist. And that is the same light in which we're going to explore the ego. Now, in truth, we can just understand the egoic understanding of ourselves is really just the temporary nature. It's the physicality of us. It's that which gains the attachment and identification of who we are. But in truth, it's not us. So, in this exploration of any egoic separation, there's a spiritual tool I like to give you and gift to you before we begin. And it's separate yourself from the understanding and concepts of separation. When we allow the egoic walls to break through, break down, or dissolve, the assumptions to simply vanish back into the ether, we come naturally into the innate knowing of our being, that pureness, that oneness. That oneness isn't necessarily you are everything. It's the fact that the essence, the energy of everything stems from one source. And when we transcend beyond separation, individuality in this egoic understanding and sense, we naturally tap into the divine that is. So let's get to it. Go ahead and get cozy, get those last few wiggles out. And when you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, with each sound of the bell as it rings, take a nice deep inhale, filling yourself up with as much air, chi, prana, these vital energies all around you. And as you fill yourself as much as you can, release that exhale gently yet powerfully into an Om. Allow the natural resonance and vibrations to ripple through the body. Simply give your attention to the now. Recognize here that thoughts may come, sensations may arise, and emotions may swell, but give them no attention. Simply focus on your own being, the doer, the observer. As I lovingly invite you into the space of the heart so you may unfold into the throne of your true position in this existence, that center and place of love, of light, of infinite potential. Simply rest and marinate as you are. There is no doing. There is simply being. Recognize you are the silent witness, the knower, the observer to both the inner and outer space. Come home to your true position. And with this final tap of the singing bowl, again, shift your attention as it rings. But most importantly, allow the concentration, your focus, to shift itself to the silence. Fall in love with that quiet, that calm. When one lets go to the seriousness of life and comes to appreciate it for the beautiful play, the dance in which it is, the tension-filled state of egoic consciousness, of egoic living begins to fade drastically. Never forget that you are spirit embodied, and this human experience is all about recognizing such balance. The misnomers and misconceptions of ego death are false, for the ego is the body itself. And in truth, such negative connotations is something that isn't appropriate for the ego, for the body. For in truth, it is the vessel in which carries our pain. It stores the experience. It enables us to operate and experience this beautiful gift of life. Just as the mother and father are the first beings we fall in love with, so too the body is the first aspect of this human experience in which we fully love. For it's the pure light, the energy in which you are, which manifests it, which builds it. Yet, just like any child who falls in love with a toy, there becomes an intimacy and attachment that can be just as good as it is bad. And in many senses, the ways in which we identify with the bodily flesh and the happenings that arise within it, often, more than not, is that realm of negativity. Spirit is tensionless, yet matter is perpetually stuck in states of tension. Hence the importance of recognizing your true position in this realm, the true throne upon which you sit in this human experience. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you draw in that light and love, exhale and release all tensions, all doubts, all fears, and internal happenings of the body. For those unexperienced in this form of introspection, recognize that the mind is only restless because it fears. It fears its position being lost. It fears the attachment dissolving away. Because again, just like any child, that toy has become something of a fixation. Yet with this human experience, the body can truly operate with a mind of its own, for that is its property. So use the powers of love to fully dissolve the concepts of separation. For the ego itself is again but a tool, one that fosters great potential when we come to recognize where we sit, or rather where we stand in this position of authority, of control. And when we give our free will away to the body and allow it to do as it pleases, one can quickly see and experience the chaos that arises. Yet we must also recognize without this body, without its knowing, that sense of individuality and separation, existence wouldn't be able to continue. We'd be perpetually stuck in the states of bliss and oneness, knowing that everything is us, yet there's no reason to eat, there's no reason to breathe or drink. We would not procreate. We would walk up to animals in the wild and be eaten. This survival tool is just that. Something that allows us to remain attached enough to this reality so we can still participate, so the game can carry on. Yet, as we've seen from our human civilization up until now, when we identify and solely see ourselves as the body, those egoic lesser vibrations express. Come to understand that you are more than this body. You are more than the flesh. You are the controller of it. As you've often heard me say, the body is the horse and you are the rider. Look in your experience thus far. Have you always asserted your position? Or have you allowed the body that is this horse to walk around as it pleases? As is life, it's riddled with many mysteries. Yet these answers are always subtle. More often than not, we overlook every ounce of grace life bestows upon us in the everyday experience. And those that continue to explore the many patterns and happenings of life, you'll come to recognize that the cosmos, source, has a great sense of humor. And again, more often than not, it reveals the answers right before our very eyes. It gives us the keys to the inner kingdom where we least expect it. Come to see the ego as your greatest adversary, yet your greatest ally. The antagonist of the film that makes you the hero. Without it, you would not grow. Without it, you would not begin the search. For it's this egoic sense, this external and individualized understanding of the world that takes us out of ourselves, out of our truth, up into a point where we come home and appreciate it again, where we fall in love with ourselves again. So come to know now that there is no such thing, there is no concept that is valid called ego death, for the ego only dies when the body drops away. And so too the experience transcends and transforms into something beyond current understanding and comprehension. Go beyond concepts. Come to understand that the ego itself is the key to your liberation. Look at the attributes of what this individualized body does. Just as the Garden of Eden, the fruit of knowledge, took away the state of oneness, it brought about shame, judgment, fear, and it brought about that concept of otherness. One can say that it's the fruit of knowledge, the gift of the ego, the gift of this human flesh, that causes us to separate ourselves from life. That we somehow exist and life is somehow something outside of us, that we are dancing within it yet not a part of it, which is utterly and completely false. Come to know and fully recognize that the key is separating yourself from this concept of separation. Come to know that you are life itself. You are the universe embodied. Your window of awareness is one that stems directly from Source, and the energies which spark your beingness are embodied by all around you, within you. This form of separation doesn't come from egoic means of force, of fear, of negativity. We separate ourselves from such a closed-off world through the powers of love, through the light of our truth. Take a deep breath in. Feel the energy around you. Feel the connectedness, the oneness with life. Do not focus on the exhale, simply allow it to drop away effortlessly. Continue to breathe in such fashion so the body takes over the breath. So you can simply resonate on that level of the heart. Love, light is all that is. You are not outside of it. We are all dancing and swimming in the same womb of creation. We are all a part of the same play of life. And when we all look within, we come back home to the same ground of being. In order to perceive, experience, and come to understand these happenings, one must be willing to let go of everything. You wouldn't hold on to a hot pan. The body would instinctively let go. So now is the time for your spirit to drop away everything that doesn't serve the truth and light of this beautiful experience. Come to understand that you are the divine embodied. And just as that phrase, namaste, represents the divine within each being and giving it such recognition and praise, so too you must come to recognize that you are divine, you are eternal. You are the spirit that is embodied in this matter, providing the human experience. And without you, nothing can be. There would be no witness, there would be no experiencer to life. When we fall in love with what we are, more than what we control and manipulate, the cosmic energies, the forces of life itself will flow through you with tensionless speed and efficiency. As many of us experience the flow, the zone, it goes by many names, but it's that state of pureness and oneness. The beautiful understanding comes from knowing that it takes no effort. It's what we are. When we let go of the temporary, when we no longer allow that which is temporary to control, dictate, and manipulate our consciousness, our sense of self, we stand clearly in the position of the divine, eternal God and goddesses we are. So utilize your powers, your love, your free will, and come home to your truth. You are not the thoughts. You are not the emotions. You are not the sensations of the body. Those are temporary. You are that which is unchanging. You are that which is eternal and goes beyond time, space, and physicality. Don't just take these words for it. Come to understand and experience it yourself by letting go of all concepts and things. Come to understand that everything outside of you is just that. You're the main character of this film. So is each being that is in existence currently. And we come into this world alone. So too we exit it. The only experience we know is our own. But when we transcend the egoic understanding that there is just you at play, that there is just this individual separated, isolated, alone, you fall back into the ocean of love and intimacy. You come back home to that Garden of Eden, that union with life. You see the same twinkle in everyone's eyes, for it's that twinkle that is in your own. That divine spark, that primordial energy that supersedes all. You come to radiate that source love, that source knowing in which you are. And only then can we come to fully play and dance as the unique expression that we are. Egoic concepts are based in fear, are based in separation. Dissolve all such concepts with love. Burn away all doubts, all fears, all tensions with the vast openness and acceptance, the surrender, the fierceness. That is the divine loving spark you are. Anything in this experience is possible, but you must fully know it within your heart. So come to know and accept fully that you are not your thoughts, you are not the emotions, you are not the body itself. You are the observer, you are the controller, you are the master of this vehicle. Assert your true position and allow all knowings of separation and fear and otherness to drop away. And simply allow yourself to be as the pure divine light you are. That dynamic, unique sense of self. For when we let go of the fear, the doubts, the ego can finally be as it wants. The playful child it is. The obedient servant to assist you, the master, that is the intangible ethereal consciousness. Just as humans have that relationship, that kinship with dogs, that pure animalistic expression of love, so too, this body will become your faithful servant, the loving creature in which you tend for and care for. And only then can your unique personality as the balance, the harmony of spirit and matter can freely express itself. Just as life is always intending you to do. When you hear the next tap of the singing bowl, allow yourself to take in a long, deep breath, filling yourself up with as much of that chi, that prana, these vital energies around you. And imagine the body glowing with a radiant, beautiful white light. And as you continue to draw in the breath until the body can no longer take anything else in, see yourself radiate as that being of light in which you are. And with your exhale, chant and proclaim a mighty Om as it will dissolve away all threads of attachment, as it will break down all walls of separation. And as you come back into the waking state, you feel the harmony and balance and peace, the pureness in which you are. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. And thank you so much for tapping into the Satsang. Don't forget to smash that like. And as always, floor is open for any questions if you got any, or as even last week, if you have any dope insights. Digital Media Dude had some cool ones with Bitcoin. Whoo! Felt you, bro. Love and light. There was someone else I felt. There was some interesting intimacy expressions going on there. It was wild. Um, Definitely felt at one with all participants. So yeah, love and light, bro. That was beautiful. And I think that's the power that we tap into that is subtly revealed in so many different religions and philosophies when more than one person gathers in this union of it was Michaela. There it was. That's funny. I was like, oh, this is a different energy. That's dope. Um, yeah, there is a profound switch that arises when we fully allow ourselves to let go. It's like we return to the ocean in which we're all swimming in, except we know we are. And that's the beautiful aspect of it is when more than one of us gathers in this sacred practice, you're intimately and instinctively just drawn into that universal force of love. It's what we are. And it's when we do this, we can actually uplift each other and amplify the potential, the experience of all of those around us. It's a beautiful happening. And the inspirational aspect to this, and what really lights a fire of hope within my heart, at least, is it doesn't matter if those around us or, globally aren't practicing this. Those that are naturally uplifting the vibration of everyone else because we're all connected. When we break down the egoic delusions that we are other, that there is you and me, we enter into the ground of being and understanding that everything is the same energy. That's all we live in is a matrix of light and energy. And when we tap into the power within ourselves, it naturally spreads like wildfire to all those around us, to your animals, to your plants, whatever it is. You begin to radiate that grace, and everyone that you come in contact with begins to get that imprint from you. And the more we practice, the more we all participate in this beautiful dance and introspection, the stronger those energies become, the brighter the light shines. And naturally, so too will everyone else's. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me this evening. That was a beautiful one. And yeah, if there's no questions, we can just wrap this up. But I guess the most important thing to recognize is when we let go of concepts such as separation, we naturally transcend fear. We naturally transcend doubt, otherness, and all of these temporary states because it takes us into a place and it puts us in the position of fully understanding that everything's grace, that everything's a gift, that everyone is on this journey of understanding in this great mystery called life. It humbles us with the ultimate knowing there is the truth. Truth is always different for each being because it's always kind of intended to be. Our unique window of awareness is our unique window of awareness. Although we come to the same ground of being in the end result, it's experienced differently for everyone. There's threads that connect everything, but in which we see the world, we're unique. There's an infinite amount of words to express, and we all experience things differently. But when we let go of separation and, in fact, use our own recognition to separate from such suggestions of the body that want to take us away from things, people, life, ourselves, we eliminate all fear through the power of love. In truth, we transmute that fear into love. And that's when we cross the threshold into the pureness in which every religion, all the different teachers have talked about. And you too can experience it. It's your birthright. You're intended to experience it. Life is technically always putting you in position to gain the resources, the tools, the wisdom, the people to help you realize it. So I just want to say with that, may the fruit of knowledge offer a seed. And in that seed, may your love, will, and intuition bring life and nourishment. For a tree shall grow, and in its shade may you find peace, and offer peace to all whom ask. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. I love you so much. Don't miss out. Share, subscribe, like, tap in. Sunday is going to be dope. It might be an evening one. Full heads up. I have to look at my schedule. It might be. It may be pushed to Monday too. depending on how crazy things get this weekend. But with that, I love you so much. Thanks for tapping in. Peace.